Hi, everybody.
Hey everybody, welcome to TFT Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with
Oberon.
and me, Banshee. Welcome to the show.
Indeed.
Indeed, indeed. See, we got a pretty good turnout already here starting, so we won't be able to take too many more people. All right, well, let's start off with the Season of the Witch Litha Oracle. Let's get this show right on the road. Hi, Jackie. Love the hats. Thank you. I bought a couple more baseball hats. I got a yellow, lemon yellow one.
She
This
probably
one
meant mine.
and my pink one, which I don't know if I've worn that one much on the show. It's usually in the
Hi,
trunk.
Kara.
Hey, Kara. I'll get you on the list. I'll get that right now. Good thing you got here because we are getting busy. All right. Mr. O, I am going to let you
Pick my nose.
get your grubby little hands on here and pick one for us.
Let me pick my nose first.
Ah,
Then I'll
do
pick a
that.
card.
Do not do that with my deck. Okay.
The nose.
Oh,
Nose.
stop it. So gross. Scorpio. So scorpionic. What you got?
Heat wave.
Ooh, it's getting hot in here. All right.
Number 15.
Yep, I'm almost there. Heat wave. The keywords are seek some shade. Good advice, isn't it? Challenging circumstances. Ooh, getting burned. There is something ominous being illuminated by the flames that await. Well, the news in the U.S. has certainly been ominous lately. Well, at least the news that's being reported on social media more than in mass media, but I digress. Please understand that the situation you have inquired about is potentially catastrophic. You should seek shelter immediately, as this is a clear sign that things will come to an end and prolonged exposure could result to devastating consequences. The events that have led up to this point are not serving you in any positive way, and in fact, you might feel some effects already. Stay vigilant in the coming days and weeks. This card is the most ominous card of the deck. Why would I pull that today? Good grief. Ominous,
I ask why.
ominous card of the deck, and could mean your situation has already reached a critical point. In a reading about money, it could signify financial loss or hardship. For career, it could mean the sudden loss of a job, dramatic changes in the workplace, or escalated troubles with a coworker. In love relationships, you might experience a breakup or betrayal. And for health, perhaps unexpected concerns or fallout from some poor habits that are contributing to your lack of well being. As a final note, as if we need it, this card is challenging, but you can choose to lean into these changes and make the best out of the rubble. Sure sounds like a tower card, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah. Holy moly. And I should say, actually, you pulled that card. So, so I'd say
Usually
this.
you like to take credit for these things.
Whether this is really superly collective, and talking about the horrible things that are going on in the US and other places, or if it's about something personal, know that you should be on your guard. And if a crisis should strike, try to make the best of it. We don't always have to crumble along with the tower. We can pick up those pieces and do the best we can to rebuild our lives from there. So I don't know what this means. I also know that part of the US right now is going through a lot of bad weather. I had heard things like some areas of the country were going to experience, you ready for this? Pineapple size hail. Possibly 100-mile-per-hour straight winds. So I think here, it could be a lot of different things happening to a lot of people. So just be on guard. This could be a sign that this week or the week ahead, a couple weeks ahead, could be really kind of tumultuous for some of us. So I wish you luck in dealing with that energy. We all have to face it, it looks like. All right, in different ways.
So let's get on with the show. And Lena is up first. And Lena asks, can I have a spirit reading for the next 2 months? So I think...
Just a general spirit reading.
Yes, I
Okay.
think I'm going to use my Millennium Thoth Tarot. And by the way, I decided to bring out, of the many decks I have here, I think I have at least 10 decks.
Kara, they don't want to make pina colada out of those hail
No,
pineapples.
they do not. I brought out a number of decks that have pips. So pip pip to you, everyone. I'm using more pip-based decks. Who'd you wave at?
Dr. V.
Oh, hi, Dr. V. You made it. We're almost ready to close the
I
list.
know, we're on 12 people.
pretty
You're going to
close.
be the 12th person, Dr. V.
Of course, that does mean that your reading will be further down the line.
Leave us your question if,
If you're going to venture
can't
away
wait.
at all. Hope you're doing okay.
All right. We filled up fast today. Thursdays have been very quiet lately. We've closed the show early a few times. So, just a reminder, you can get in pretty easily on Thursday nights as well. I know with some people who are in different time zones,
might not be conducive.
yeah, it's more difficult. Oh, the Lenormand. Did I get that? I'm using, I believe it's called the Seaborn Lenormand today again. I really like this one. It's kind of, it's not.
Yes, I saw it, Shirley. Thank you. You did get Shirley in, right?
I did.
All righty.
Oh, did I?
Well, Shirley came before Dr. V.
After Kara? No, right before. Yeah, after Kara, I think. Maybe.
Yes, it looks that way.
Okay. Yep.
You had one job, Banshee.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll get Shirley in. So actually, we're up to 13 people.
Okay.
Thanks, Shirley.
3 cards for Lena. So our first card is the upright 7 of Pentacles.
Upright 7 of Pentacles. Gotcha.
The reversed Strength, which in this deck, that's Major Arcana 11, and they call it Lust.
7 of Pentacles. And what is that again? The Devil?
No, it's Strength reversed.
Strength reversed is Lust. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's 11, so it could have been the other, but it's clearly Strength.
Got it. No, I got it. Okay.
Sure. And then the last card is the Princess of Swords.
Upright.
And of course, in the Thoth Tarot, that's more analogous to the Page.
What's interesting, I sense a little bit of push-pull in this reading from Spirit, Lena. On some levels, there may be certain things that Spirit wants you to take a pause with. Take a pause. You know what? It does start to make sense to me a little bit here. There's some things she may want you to put on hold that haven't been draining your time and energy needlessly right now, and maybe you have to more aggressively work on some other things that are really of more importance to you. Now, you're going to have to decide what that might be, but that's the swords, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the princess. Is that the page?
Right, it's the Page.
So you're going to have to really discern here what's most important to you. But I think, you'll be able to do that. You're just going to have to cut through the chafe and decide what the most important things in your life in the next couple months you need to work more aggressively on and let the other stuff sit for a while.
I mostly can't say this any better. There's clearly a need for you to have some clarity, and yet also a need for you to do this in a somewhat delicate, diplomatic way. It might involve the fact that you have to ask harder questions to certain people or certain agencies, and that's the idea of, this card saying you need to be a little more aggressive about it. But clearly something needs to move, and I think that's the Seven of Pentacles. You need to move something.
Oh, really? What's upright? Okay. You know what? Here, the birds. So it's interesting you were talking about communicating with others. And
The book.
you want to go ahead with that?
Okay, you may be finding out, that's the book, that there's communication going on that affects you, that maybe people are listening to you about, inquiries you might be making, or people have information for you. The book probably suggests you're finding out things you need to know. And, your question was kind of a general one. So, in terms of that, I think it's just indicating at the end of this cycle, you'll be more surprised than not, or more comfortable than not, with what you have managed to learn about as affects your course going forward.
Yeah, this is kind of a tough one for me. I do feel, let me get my wand. I do feel here that the book maybe, well, actually, the birds are tied into this maybe, but um, in that, I think here maybe you're going to find out something from other people that's going to affect what you focus on. I think here,
That's
something that you find out. Like, for example, I'm just using this as an example, Lena. I'm not saying this is it. Let's just say somebody finds out that there's going to be cutbacks in their workplace. Well, maybe that means you have to put other concerns aside and focus on either saving your money for, possibly having to find another job, or, actually focusing on finding another job. So, I mean, something that you find out through others may make you realize I need to focus on this area of my life more right now and let some of this other stuff go.
And it may be a concern because we still have this idea of maybe aggressively pursuing that, like shifting into high gear if you need to find out more about, the validity of your job or your employment, things like that.
Well, that's what it looks like, Lena. That's what we have for
So
you.
good luck,
Good luck
Lena.
with that.
And we will move on to Marita, I believe.
Bye, Marita. Yep.
Am I going to get a new job soon? Waiting to hear from an application. When do you see it happening, or whatever do we see?
Okay. All right.
Hi, Nada. Yes, we can add you.
You're going to be way down on the list. We're filled up fast today, Nada. So if you have to leave, leave us a question. We'll definitely answer it during the show.
Right. If your turn comes up and we don't see you or see a question from you, we may have to move you to the end of the line and possibly off the list, depending on how late it is.
Yep. All right. There it is. Okay, so we're on Marita, and it's your Lenormand. That's right. Let me grab this one. We have the Page of Pentacles reversed. We have the Six of Swords reversed. Now we have the Three of Pentacles upright. That's interesting to me. What do you have, Mr. O? I hope a ray of hope here.
Mr. O has the fish.
Okay, maybe. And,
The sun.
ah, well, because it really seems like things are a slow go, Marita. I see this Page of Pentacles reversed, and again, it kind of talks about delays. setbacks, possibly getting bad news in relation to job, career, or money. And it's followed by that Six of Swords. So I'm going to tie those together and then let Mr. O go. But that Six of Swords reversed indicates right now, it just seems like there's nowhere to go. There's no movement right now, whether you're holding yourself back or it's just conditions around you right now are making you unable to move, towards better conditions.
Yes, as starting cards, that's what it looks like. Um, the Page of Pentacles could be said to be somebody who feels really like giving up in some respects, not motivated, not feeling instinctually or intuitively like things are really to avail. So it's kind of a depressing feel. And the Six of Swords may indicate you that, you feel so you're sort of stuck there. You can't really move somewhere else. You're having to deal with things as they are. But I'm moving ahead though. The Three of Pentacles,
Yeah, what do you think about that? I have an idea, but
well, to me, it almost always speaks of mentorship to some degree, of falling into or being in a situation where somebody can either direct you to how to do this or make you feel like you are part of the process.
well, I like that. It does seem to indicate that you could be working with a team or a group of people, but I'm not sure I'm wondering here, I'm just going to throw that out there. If there's any kind of like job counselors or job agencies that you can work through to try to find a job for yourself? Because it almost seems here that maybe others might be able to steer you towards something or maybe help you get in somewhere. So, maybe unless it's family or friends or somebody like that that could maybe, get you in a position somewhere. That's what I'm looking at. There may be help here.
That's a good point. I forget that, but at times, a number of the other pentacles do kind of talk to that idea of maybe a foundational sense of things going on, which implies family or implies a group that maybe fosters you for some reason or the other. So, right, being able to identify that or to find that as a resource might be important here if you can do that, possibly.
I'm wondering about the sun and, considering these cards were not very positive for finding a job, and I'll try my timing cards, but I don't want you to just get discouraged if something crazy lawn comes out here because I'm looking at the sun and I'm looking at the fish. Sometimes the fish means abundance. There are schools of fish that swim together. And so I'm wondering here with the sun if this isn't saying to cast your net far and wide and just keep at it. Really keep applying it a lot of places, and there could be some success for you in doing so.
Right. I think that's the key here. And I sometimes forget that myself with the fish, but I think this is saying there's safety in numbers. And so you may have to consider how you can do that. It might not be the easiest thing to do, but it seems like you have to be a lot more proactive in this respect of putting applications out there or vigorously,
Broadening your search.
right, broadening your search. Still, though, I feel that the sun's presence there, as well as the fish,
Positive.
indicates there's a positivity for you for doing that. And if nothing else, maybe just being involved in that process is bound to, kind of generate some better feels for yourself. And eventually it hopefully can lead to that. Good job.
Well, let's see what the timing cards have for us today. Oopsie. There. Huh. Well,
That's a lot.
I think what this is saying is anywhere between now and 7 months. And what it's saying here is just some advice, and I don't know if this applies, But stop ruminating over the past. That may be limiting your movement forward. And this card is indicating no time can be determined right now. And again, this just may be because, the timing is not right. I can see here that the cards are clearly indicating no movement at the present time. So I'm going to hazard to guess that I feel here that I have a feeling that this month is not going to work out for you, but anywhere from July to the next 7 months, you could make progress. But you're really going to have to, I think, accept some things that maybe are outside of your, what you were hoping for. But if you can get in somewhere, it may lead to some good experience that could open other doors for you. That sun and the fish here are positive signs. I think there's a light at the end of this tunnel, but it's just getting there. And
Indeed.
I wish you luck, Marita. I'm not seeing movement right now, but keep checking with us. It's possible that this is going to start to change over time.
All right, and Empress has joined us and has left their question, and I think we are definitely getting near the end
Yeah,
of
we've only
being
got room for
open.
like two more.
Hope you're doing okay, Empress. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. And
We're
blessings to you,
very
Marita.
busy, Empress. So yeah, it'll be a while before we get to you. So we are done with Maria. We're on Shreya now.
Mhm.
All right.
All right.
Yep, that's it. Let's have the cards back. Thank you. All right. Thank you. I'm not going to do that. That's right.
Hi, Shreya. And Shreya's question, I want to know about my love life for the rest of the year. I'm not dating anyone currently and searching for true love. When will I meet that person? All right. So
I
we
was going to
may
put
need to
those
keep
away,
those
but
when cards around.
yep.
So let's see. What deck shall I use? I shall use my Tarot of Transition. It's kind of Egyptian themed. And like I mentioned before, hi, Jarrett.
Oh, hi, Jared. We will get you on the list, but it is incredibly long today.
Yeah,
So if you leave your question, we'll be happy to do it for you. You're probably one of the last two readings we're going to be able to do today.
expect this to be more like an hour and a half from now. We're not sure really, but it'll be at least an hour.
I'll repost the list.
Thanks for that information, Empress.
Yeah, I'd say one more. We'll stop at 17 today.
All right.
Okay, where's my Lenormand? Here we go. Okay, love life or love prospects till the end of the year, right? Yeah.
Mhm. And our first card is the Magician reversed. And then it's the Queen of Swords reversed. The final card is upright. It's the Page of Cups.
Queen of Swords is reversed, eh?
Yeah, and the Magician.
Hmm. Okay, well, let me get the Lenormand in this. Hold on a minute. All right, thanks for posting the question to Jarrett. We'll get to that when we can get to you. We will do it today, so we can check back later. Okay, we've got the moon, which is interesting. Oh, well, I think there's some good and bad coming to you, Shreya.
Right.
It's really interesting to me because, on the one hand, I see somebody here who you can't trust. The magician reverse to me is somebody who is hiding something. They're sneaky. Um, They may not be upfront about what they're doing. They may be having ulterior motives for wanting to have a relationship with you. There's something they hope to gain out of this. And so they're not to totally be trusted. As a matter of fact, this could be somebody who might be having another relationship on the side with you. So be wary. Make sure you vet people well, because the Queen of Swords here is indicating to me, you can't let your guard down when it's reversed. You've got to be paying attention and watch the decisions and the choices that you make in love this year. Make sure that the people are right for you. And that being said, I do have to say, there could be a positive romance coming your way too. So, just choose wisely. Don't make the wrong choice. I'm going to stop because the Lenormand will go into that positive relationship, I think, a little bit more. Go ahead.
Well, I think these cards are pretty much like what Banshee says, Shreya. It is possible that this is a person that's just callow and not really focused on their life. That person could be trickery, deceptive, but not necessarily um, evil per se. It's more like they're just chaotic and they don't really have a plan for themselves. And so hurting somebody incidentally just doesn't seem to really, they understand that. They're just selfish in their own way. So that could be said to be one of their biggest traits. Sunny likes her
He
hair.
likes the hat. I was wondering, what are you wearing?
Maybe if there is involvement with this kind of a person, you realize that, they're callow, and callow people usually are detectable almost immediately. And so the Queen of Swords says you make the decision that serves your own interests, even if other people say, oh, that was kind of harsh. But I almost wonder, like, maybe somebody says, hey, I think I know this person who's clever and you should date them. And it turns out you're like, no, I shouldn't have dated them. Hopefully it's not going to be a real serious thing. And then I agree with Banshee, though, that the Page of Cups seems to promise a better kind of friendship or relationship moving ahead. Maybe somebody who's more interested in understanding you as a person and your feelings before moving into the romantic sector.
I like that. And it's somebody who I think, Shreya, you will just feel connected to in some deeper way. There's some psychic thing here, connection maybe between, the two of you. And the moon and the bouquet indicates romance is in the cards this year. At some point, I think that the bouquet says that there's joy and happiness coming through successful romance.
Right. And so, to the degree that maybe, if you did get sort of involved, date a time or two with the selfish person, there might still be some fun there. Maybe you go to a movie, have a nice dinner, but ultimately you're going to move away from that, I think. And so, this is more likely to deal with the next one who comes along.
I think so. I,
So,
I think it's going to be in that sequence, obviously. Yeah.
so I
But
think that's what we got.
don't know.
And of course, tarot is a snapshot in time, so you can never know for sure exactly how long this will take, or if it will be exactly like that. Banshee is throwing some timing cards here. Oh, well, we don't like that. two
I don't
years,
believe that. But
2
I do
years.
think that the number two is involved in some way. Does that mean like December because there's a two in it? Does that mean like November? Because if you do the numerology, one and one is two. So I'm wondering if it's something like that. But then I have this.
The momentum is rolling. Stay positive. It's on the
I
way.
think stay positive, and I think that this is going to start playing out. It may take some time though before this really starts to get moving. Maybe number two is saying here, the 2 years is maybe saying the second half of this year. I'm feeling that a little bit here, obviously, because we're already in June.
Well, you'll have to
So
let us know.
yeah, keep us posted, Shreya. Good luck with that.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Uh-huh. Whoops, they're over there.
And we are Mysterious Queen.
Mysterious Queen, hello.
Hello there.
A little bit, kind
Well,
of like,
honestly, um, they're imperfect, but, if you really get a feel off of them anyway for timing, the question was about would something happen this year, and I do feel something's definitely in the works for
it gives us a
Shreya.
little bit of leeway to look at it that way.
Yes, it gives us a framework, which I like.
All right. Hey,
Uh,
Mysterious Queen.
so did they post a question earlier? Or...
Let's take a peek. Don't remember.
Oh,
What
well,
is my person's
oh,
true intentions towards
wait a
me?
minute, I want to see something. We don't, yeah, we do. Never mind. Okay.
All right, so Mysterious Queen's question is, what is their person's intentions, true intentions towards them?
Okay. All right.
That's gonna be your deck, right?
I think so.
You're welcome, Shreya.
Good grief. These are very hard. They're very thick. And so they're a little harder to shuffle.
Okay, we could run that at the end. Yeah, the time frame. It's like anything else, though. It's just a possibility that what we see there is. At any rate, here we go.
The Eight of Wands is upright. The Empress is upright. Wow. Oh, that's interesting. The Five of Wands is upright.
You're welcome. All right, and so in our Lenormand, the tiny little cards as they are known, is the Labyrinth, number 43, and Clover.
So that's one of
So,
the extra Lenormands in his
yeah,
deck.
so that's kind of
The
interesting.
Labyrinth. Yeah, so some confusion in Clover, but huh. Yeah, this is a mixed bag for sure here. I think there's a lot of energy to move something in this, their intentions towards you. I don't know if you are dating now or if there's no contact, whatever, but I do think some movement is going to happen this year. And it might be positive. It's really odd here. The Empress is here in the middle, right? Now we have movement here. We have the two wands on either side. And the other one is engagement too, in a way, but sometimes it can be about conflict or discord, arguments, stuff like that, disagreements or differences of opinions. So what do you see here?
I don't hope this isn't a rude question, but does somebody want to be a parent? Does somebody want to bring life into the world, to have a child? And
Okay,
maybe
where are you getting that? I'm
mostly
curious.
from the Empress and
Oh,
the way
okay.
the way the other cards fall. Um,
Thought they had arguments in recent past and no
well,
contact.
hey, parents argue.
Well, here's the deal. I think the arguments are a key
No
here,
contact.
but there could be some movement and communication to try to patch things up. It's possible here. But now, does that have to come from you or does it come from them? Obviously, if you have no way to contact them, it may be that it has to come from them. But it is possible. It's possible here. I see this happening.
Well, some of this could seem to be that the person, the your intended or the person we're asking about, doesn't exactly have their mind set straight either. I get that from the labyrinth, a sense of confusion.
Yeah.
Um, but maybe they can work through this, or maybe they're trying to work through this. The luck card there, Clover. This usually is direct. This is somebody who wants to direct energy pretty specifically.
That one. Okay. Yeah. Focus. If I almost feel like maybe they're willing to put their focus on trying to be a little bit more compassionate and understanding and trying to settle the differences. There's a possibility here that there's a search for trying to find common ground. It's not going to be easy, though, because, this is upright. Um, I feel here, too. I feel what Mr. O is saying about the confusion about trying to find a way out of this maze, and trying to find a way forward that, maybe they're hoping in their own way that something will come their way that could break this stalemate.
Right, and that context you give us about arguments maybe does indicate that there seem to be strong issues that haven't been resolved or haven't easily seen a way to resolve them. Are we going to add that person?
That'll be the last one then,
Okay,
but we'll
we
talk.
will
We'll
add you,
talk to you later,
JS.
Jay.
Um, and so I wonder, if like that's why that card's there, because there's a thing you just can't really agree on, and it seems to be one of the factors here that is holding things from moving ahead.
Yeah, I can't. I wonder here, though, if we should focus the timing card she wanted
Uh-huh.
on will they connect with
Yeah,
them?
because that's how they're asking it, really.
Yeah, and looking at the clover, there's a potential here for a breakthrough moment. I'm almost feeling that because of the Empress is a powerful force for good here. And this isn't a bad card. This is really kind of neutral. This one, not so much.
Dreams can represent usually more likely what we really are thinking about deep inside. They're not always prophetic. Sometimes they can be, but it's more likely that this is something that's really important to you, and it's trying to work its way out in your subconscious through dreaming.
Yeah, to be honest with you, Mysterious Queen, I'm just going to be honest with you. In my family, if somebody dreamt of a marriage, they'd be afraid they're going to a funeral or an ending of some sort. It means the opposite in my family. But that being said, that's why I don't usually help people interpret dreams because they're very personal to you. And it may mean something completely different to you than it means in my family. And sometimes dreams like that can be prophetic. Um, you know, just to get a little bit scarier with you, my father dreamt he saw himself in a coffin. And my family thought that meant the opposite, that he was going to get a new job or possibly get a promotion. Well, he died 2 weeks later. So, I mean,
Well,
dreams are very fickle, and you got to really intuit what they mean to you.
a lot of times dreams, if they are working with subconscious themes,
Yeah.
they may reflect more from what you believe in your culture, in your religion, in your day-to-day life, things that seem to be present there that may not always be in other cultures or other situations. All right, let's give it a shot. So this was basically about whether or not there might be communication of some sort.
Holy moly! But you have a past to ruminate on. The same card came up again, but not this one. Let's
Okay.
read
Well, it
this
was
one
really about
first.
action from him. Stop ruminating over the past. It's limiting your movement forward. No time can be determined right now. So it doesn't say move on from him, but it's just saying that maybe you're spending a lot of attention on it.
It's
Oh, look at this.
possible.
Before the winter months.
Possible that maybe that's when they will try to connect back. But whether this is going to be able to get resolved or worked out, I'm not really certain. You both will have some work to do. I think that's pretty clear. So I wish you luck with that. It's really interesting the way that turned out.
All right, we got to move on.
Would you? All right, so JS, we're going to add you, but you are the last person on a kind of long list. So if you can leave your question, if you have to
You're
leave,
welcome.
we'll get to it. But otherwise, if you're willing to stay for the whole show, that's on you. But if you're not here when we call you, we will not be able to answer your question if we don't have it.
And I am putting up the sign that indicates our list is now closed.
We are full up today.
We are full up to the end. Even if people aren't present, we may not necessarily let others on. We just have to determine. Thank you, JS. All right, so we're on Christine then. And Christine did leave us a question. I think Christine wanted to know what Spirit wants them to know for this upcoming week. Alrighty. Let's see, what do I want to use here?
So, as just a reminder, I'm pinning that message to the chat, but everybody who's currently on the list will get a reading. All right. Oops, what did I do here? There we go. So, Christina's up and wants a reading for the next week.
Right. What does Spirit want them to know for the upcoming week? And I'm going to use my Adrian Tarot. It's once again a tarot with more pips in it, more pip driven than Rider Waite. I just wanted to use my pip decks because I have so many of them and I don't always use them.
Okay, JS, thanks for leaving the question.
Okay, our first card is the reversed Queen of Cups. Am I doing this your way? What does Spirit want them to know?
For the week ahead, no, let's lay them out.
All right.
Let's see what we've got.
The next one is another court card that is reversed, and it also cups. It's the reversed Page of Cups. That's kind of interesting. And then finally, more reversed. It's the Hermit reversed from the Major Arcana.
Oh. Well, wow. So this doesn't look like a great week for you, but hold on. Yeah, the hurt. And the home. So I think this is kind of the Queen of Cups. Something is going to upset you this week. I feel there's some upsetting news possibly coming, or maybe something gets canceled that you were hoping to do. The Page of Cups, right? Reversed. Or maybe you just didn't feel this, you didn't see it coming. You didn't sense it coming, whatever this thing that's disappointing you is. It seems as though you're kind of, and what is that one?
Hermit
The
reversed.
Hermit reversed. This could involve some social activity or something involving other people because the hermit comes out of his cave, and he's back into the real world. It could also involve something that maybe, Christine, you haven't been really putting enough attention towards. Something that maybe has been on the back burner in your life, and now things are coming to a head and you're going to have to deal with it, whatever it is.
Right. It may have the idea that you felt you didn't need to be overly concerned about it, but all of a sudden something did happen, or you're going to find out about that. Your emotions are maybe, uneven about it because there's an inclination to want to be either angry or incredibly upset in
Upset.
some way,
Yeah.
but it just feels like something that you may want to berate yourself, feeling like you could have done better, or you should have known about this. I think it's interesting that the Hermit reverse plays against the House card and the Heart in the Lenormand, because I get the feeling like this affects you in a domicile kind of way. So either something is forcing you out of a comfort zone, or forcing you into a situation where you just, don't feel um, good. But yet at the same time, those are positive cards. So they
Well, they're
almost feel.
positive neutral. The house, positive
Let me
neutral.
let you take over for a moment while I think about that.
Well, I would just say this, looking at the tone going on here with this reading, that the house is often about comfort, safety, security, and the heart is about your emotions and love in your heart. And so I think right now it's saying, you know, do something nice for yourself, protect your heart, okay? Do something that makes you feel better in this week ahead, because there's something here that's going to happen that's going to disappoint you a little bit. So do something that'll make you feel better about things, whatever it may be. I just kind of feel that when I saw that in relation to all the other cards here. It may also indicate to me that maybe this whole thing is affecting, your emotions, and you've got to kind of put some shields up here, you know?
I thought about what you're saying, Christine, because I thought this doesn't sound really very specific in a way. And I wonder if, you're out there where a lot of stuff is happening right now in the bigger, picture thing. And I wonder if this could represent things that make you feel uncomfortable or emotionally concerned, even if you're not directly involved or directly have a stake there. What's going on in our world right now does have a lot of us really wondering emotionally where we are protected at, or where we are sound at. And we may have cares about our children or about other people we know, under this kind of climate.
You're waiting for some paperwork or something, right? Is that what it is? Your ID? Is that,
The ID thing.
was it for travel or something? I can't remember.
Well, if I recall right, you said you hadn't heard that anything was coming up, so you don't
That's
know.
what it is. Yes, I thought so. So, yeah, this might be still nothing happening and you're getting nervous and stressed out about it. It could be about that. Um,
The Hermit reverse in a way does kind of have that idea about identity shifting status quo, at least to some degree.
well, I would say with the Hermit reverse, this might be saying maybe you need to follow up on this, because the Hermit reversed is saying don't let something go. Don't let something go that may need your attention.
Oh,
Sometimes when the hermit is reversed, it's indicating, we're not paying attention to something we really need to right now. Maybe we've been avoiding it. In some cases, it's about that, avoiding it and not dealing with it. But in other cases, it just might be, oh, we've just forgot to look
could that
into it.
represent then the emotional
Could
fallout
be, could
from
be.
missing an opportunity or missing something that you should have followed up on?
Yeah.
Regretting an action that you didn't
Oh,
take.
the ID theft. Oh,
Uh, okay.
okay. I'm thinking of somebody else. Somebody else was waiting for some paperwork for a trip, I think. But at any rate, interesting.
Well,
I do think you have to protect yourself in some way. And in other words, don't let your emotions get overwhelm you. We need to handle whatever is coming your way calmly and in a state of mind where you'll be able to make the wisest decisions for yourself. So I don't know. Maybe this is just something the cards are picking up, but maybe it'll pass. Maybe it'll pass. I just don't know. If it doesn't resonate with you immediately, maybe it's just something that is going to surface in this week ahead. So keep your eyes open. I wish you luck with
We're
this.
sorry, Ari. We actually closed the list. We're sorry.
Yeah,
We're like totally full here.
we are totally full today, Ari.
I'm surprised you didn't get the notification. I don't know what that's about.
Mm. Sometimes that happens with people. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, Christine, you're welcome. Yeah,
Yep, we'll be pretty,
Thursday
you know,
we're
we're
usually
pretty
better.
quiet on Thursday nights lately. So if you can make it to that one, we'll be here.
Well, I'm
We'll
sure a
be
new
ready.
hairstyle's more important. You're probably lovely.
Let me smack him.
You can. No, I meant that in a good way. Like, hey, putting on the pretty. You should try it.
Wow. No, I have bad luck with maintaining my hair, so I get the easy cuts, the easy to maintain cuts.
Oh, is this about that time I cut your hair?
Oh, and that, well, see, that will never happen again.
It was pretty bad.
It will never happen again. All right. Well, let's move on. We've got Jackie up. Hi, Jackie. Uh,
Jackie asked if she had lived in a commune in a past life. Wow, man.
well, I should have used my Flower Child Tarot for that one, but I'm not going to. A commune. But let's see what we've got. Let's use the Spacey deck. It is my deck, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm having a problem here. Hold on. I have too many decks in here. That's the problem. I have no room. There we go. Oh my goodness sakes. Okay. Oh, look at that. I pulled out two. What the heck? Maybe I meant to use this deck. Why did that happen? And why is one card there? Oh, I know why. Because it was right next to it. Geesh. Well, you know what? I'm going to use this deck. It just wanted to come out. Come out, wherever you
Gonna
are.
start the Jeopardy thing.
I'm sorry, there's just like, it's weird. I want to make sure when I do use this deck, that deck, I have all the cards. Okay. So the Magical Hours deck is back. I did an unboxing video yesterday that will be coming out on Monday. Four Swords is reversed. The King of Wands is reversed. Seven of Pentacles is upright. It's really interesting to me. You know, I could see this as maybe being a more. Well, go ahead. I want to see that.
The Scythe and the Bear.
I'm almost feeling, in my mind, Jackie, what this is pulling up for me is a more nomadic tribal experience here. Why am I saying that? That's a good question. I just feel with the Four of Swords reversed, there was a lot of energy and potential movement here. The King of Wands reversed indicates to me that it's possible here that when either jobs dried up, maybe it was like a gypsy existence too, in a way, but when jobs disappeared, success was not there, perhaps when crops did not come through with the results that you wanted, or there was droughts or some kind of famine. It was time for the tribe to move on. And just feeling that here in these cards. I don't know what Mr. O is going to pick up. So I do feel you were part of a group or a tribal experience that may have been on the move.
I think that before relatively modern times, um, communal living might have been more normal than not. I mean, we idealized it into the
Yeah.
term commune with the 60s or even a little bit earlier because there were, different kinds of communes in the 20th century before hippiedom. But I think a lot of people don't view that as communes per se, but that was the style of life. People tended to glom together because we didn't have infrastructures that were supportive of our lives in the way that we do now with social service nets or safety nets. And so these cards do kind of refer to maybe more of a further back past, but it could even be somewhat more relatively modern, a couple centuries ago even. And I think it is likely it happened, and probably for the reasons that Banshee indicated. Swords and Wands really talk about enterprise and or pulling together to be protective, which are qualities necessary for any kind of nomadic or communal kind of living. Um, and as always, it's about what you need to do to ensure continuity. The Seven of Pentacles maybe is a sign of continuity that needs to always be worked on.
The Seven of Pentacles, which is an interesting card because it is about a farmer, tending to fields, and so I almost get the feel here that there was feast sometimes, there was famine sometimes in the life, and a lot of thinking about what to do next, what moves they needed to make, and I think that it does show kind of a wandering sort of thing, but I do think other people were involved here. What's interesting to me is the Lenormand as well. In that, you have the scythe here, and you have the bear, and the scythe isn't necessarily pointing to it, or is it? I can't tell.
It could very well be.
Pointing to it. So I think here
It's curving towards it. It ultimately starts curving away, but it's curving towards it.
when you're when fortunes began to change, when the power structure changed, or the financial well-being or material well-being, the crops, etc., everything began to change. It was time to pack up and move on, and I feel here that's sort of why I felt all of this kind of fit together to kind of a nomadic experience of some
Even
sort.
even if it wasn't nomadic, clans that lived together, Scotland, wherever, Europe, there was a time of the year, Selwyn, where things were called. There were always harvests, but the harvests were done to prepare for getting through the winter. But the scythe, is kind of like saying that. And of course, people didn't store bear meat. I'm not suggesting that, but that's talking about a people who are strong then, who realize that they have to call the herds a little bit to get through the winter. Not everything's going to make it. They didn't call humans necessarily, unless we believe the Wicker Man. Okay, maybe there was some truth to that.
So I don't know how far back this is going. I mean, I could go way back. I could think of a lot of different civilizations this could apply to.
Yeah.
The other thing is that, maybe weather played a role here. It wasn't just, obviously, when I'm saying that, maybe I should say it differently. Maybe natural disasters played a role here, like if it was a volcanic environment, that you were in and people had to move their cultures on, or something like that. I just don't know, but it does seem like movement was involved, and yes, I think people banded together for their own comfort, safety, and maybe for their material needs. So that's what I think is going on here.
Very fascinating.
Yeah, so good luck with that. Or I hope that gave you some
Insights
ideas here
or correlated with what you were already thinking.
to look into further. So, all right, good luck
Right.
with that. All right, we are on
Violet Day.
Violet Ann. Hi, Violet Ann. Something's wrong with the spelling.
They're going to get the job I interviewed for, or anything that we can tell them about it. They are contacting you tomorrow, Monday. Alrighty. Um, let's see. I'm going to use my Tarot del Toro, which of course is the Guillermo del Toro Tarot, called with a lot of imagery from his various movies and other possible works he's done. I think he's done some comic book stuff too, or graphic novel stuff. And once again, it is kind of a pippy oriented deck, but that doesn't bother me. I do think that his other cards have some more or less, imagery that seems to work within his movie universe. I'm not a great fan of all his movies because I mostly just don't know them all, but one of the movies I did see that I really like is Pan's Labyrinth. It's an astonishing movie, to be totally honest. Its imagery is just incredible, and it's a sad story, um, but I like it.
Well, if things aren't clear, we might do a yes no, right? Let's see.
Right, we might. All right. So it's the Two of Wands is upright. No, that's the Labyrinth. Pan's Labyrinth is a different movie altogether. Guillermo del Toro is the director. Has nothing to do with Labyrinth or whatever that was, the Bowie movie. Not. And in fact, they're probably about 20 years apart. Okay. Um, okay, so the Valet of Wands, so more wands. It's the Page of Wands, but it's reversed. And then Judgment is reversed. So,
Oh, poo.
oh, poo.
Well,
I
because I
like
have
the two of Wands.
interesting stuff here.
It's a man, baby. Austin Powers, right? Bear, there's that bear again. Okay, Violet Dan.
So what is this one?
It's
Two of
the
them.
two of Wands.
Huh.
It's the Page of Wands
It
reversed.
just seems like there might be a delay. They're going to call you Monday. Are they interviewing you Monday? Or
She
you
already had the interview.
okay? You're expecting the answer.
Mhm.
So I don't know if it's going to be delayed or if it's going to be bad news. Um,
We did see that
somewhat a
one.
wrench.
Judgment
Yeah,
reversed.
judgment too, reversed. It's as if, maybe they're going to have some more questions for you as possible here. I don't know. The two of
Wands.
wands upright makes me think, yeah, I was going to say wands, but it makes me think that, um,
I think that they like you, but maybe they're thinking you're better off in a different position or not exactly what they want for you for that position.
right, they may have different plans for you.
Right.
I
Maybe
mean,
it's
I was
different
thinking
planets.
about that. I was thinking about that, but I was also thinking that it could mean, well, it might be back to the drawing board and you need to recalibrate and, redo things. Or they may, like I said, they may think you fit into their strategy, but there seems to be some opposition. And I don't know if it's one person in particular that wields some power there that could either be holding this up or could be your ally in this. So if you seem, I don't know how many people interviewed you, but if there seemed to be somebody who seemed very receptive, then I think they might be the key as to whether this is going to happen or not for you.
Well, definitely, I hope you drop us a line and let us know what happened.
Yes, no.
Because I think we will do the yes or no for you too by then. But I sort of feel that Judgment is saying that either, or combined with the Page of Wands, is either saying they're going to put you off possibly to never contact you again, or they really are putting you off because they're still scrambling through this themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
We're
So
gonna
let's take the yes, no and do it.
we're gonna try our yes or no for you. All right.
I just want to see and get a bead. I have a feeling it may not work out, but I'm not totally certain.
Well,
No.
our new yes or no that we've been doing sort of has little hints, about what may need to happen or what will happen.
If we're just doing a yes no reading for a reading, we do the longer version of our yes
You're
no.
welcome.
But we use this one when we want clarity in a reading that we've done for someone.
You want to shuffle them too?
I guess. That'll take a lot of time here. One more.
I'll let you pick it up.
Oh, thanks. Well, it's temperance reversed. And so, again, it's interesting because it doesn't give us a clear answer. It says good
Good
luck.
luck.
So I think, and with temperance reversed, it's indicating to me that it could go either way. That there's not a balanced answer here. That somebody maybe is either your strongest ally here, or somebody is strongly opposing this.
There's something in balance here, but it doesn't mean that you can't
Right.
possibly affect that balance. So if you haven't done this already, send them a little note saying thank you, email or whatever for the interview, that kind of thing. Just sort of pique your interest or your pleasure with being able to go through the process.
Well, just say thank you and just for the consideration and how you feel, you would be an asset working there.
Right. Remind them of why,
It's an
you're
excellent
interested in it.
chance to throw some positive things out there about yourself. So, but I assume you might have done that. I
You
figured
did.
that. So, gosh, I wish you luck,
Good
Violet
luck,
Ann.
Violet Ann.
Wish I could give you more clarity on this. It's really up in the air. Have to keep us
It's
posted.
fungible, so it does mean that you can affect it or that something, will put it more in flux one way or the other at some point.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers
Fingers
crossed for you,
crossed.
sweetie. All right.
All right.
Good luck.
So we are on Siama.
Siama. I think Siama wants general. Let's take a look and see. General reading. Alrighty.
Righty. Hey, you're
You're
welcome.
welcome.
Good to see you.
Good luck. And by the way, if you're looking for some more content from us, do check out Banshee's Material Matters from this morning. It was pretty hot stuff. Had a number of likes, and it was very
Interesting readings too.
interesting
Some of them
readings for
were
the
this
entire
time.
zodiac.
Not all negative, despite tariffs and other things.
The information is
So,
good for the week and basically tells you what's going on with your personal economy. So check it out. Era, if you haven't seen Pan's Labyrinth, you should. It's definitely up your alley. It's ooky enough. It's weird enough, scary enough. Pan's Labyrinth. It's probably on DVD or streaming.
so it's a general, right?
Yes.
Well, here's that Two of Wands again, but reversed.
Boy. Two of Wands reversed again.
The Empress is upright. And the Six of Pentacles is reversed.
All right. And Lenormand gives us the Labyrinth again and the Clover again. How interesting. I shuffled them a few times since then. I don't know.
Wow. It's meant to be. It's meant to be. There's just a lot of uncertainty right now in the world and in people's affairs. And I'm picking that up a little bit here as well. It's hard to make. I think that this is just a general. It's not for the week or any
Right.
time frame, right? It's just general.
In general.
So I think here that you might be struggling to come up with a strategy or a plan right now to do something you've wanted to do or to obtain something that you really desire. And with the Six
Six of
of
Pentacles.
Pentacles reversed here, it's showing there's just a lack of balance. There's a lack of give and take or reciprocity in your life right now. It just seems as though, maybe you're either maybe doing too much and getting little in return, or doing too little and therefore you're getting little in return. I think here that the Empress is saying, you've got to find a creative way to pursue your dreams without throwing your life into chaos or imbalance.
I'm feeling something like that too, Siama. I feel this card, the Two of Pentacles, is saying you're feeling like you're locked somewhere in your life right now. You're not really seeing what you need to move ahead. And there seems to be two different poles going on. There may be the pole of what you need to do, for your life, whether you're working or not, or you're doing things that contribute to your life or to the life of your family or whatever. But at the same time, you also feel like you're not making even, like what you give, you're just not getting back in
Like
return.
that too.
And so you may feel like if this is a situation where you need to break out of that, you're going to have to figure out how you can do that.
That's really nice. So the labyrinth and the clover again. You're almost wondering, what is it going to take for a breakthrough to occur? The labyrinth is like you can get lost in a labyrinth. It's like a maze, and you've got to kind of figure the right path to take. Which again, the labyrinth kind of ties into that two of swords here, or I mean wands here, pretty well, doesn't it, Mr. O? And
Yeah,
so
I
I
think
think
so.
the clover here is about a breakthrough, looking for a way forward so that you can create what it is you want and desire in your life.
It may be that luck happens when you figure out how that balance occurs between those, or if there is some middle ground there that really helps you achieve both ends.
Right.
It sounds simplistic, but that's really it.
Yeah, I mean, instead of waiting for the breakthrough moment, I think you have to find a way to create your own breakthrough moment here. And that's what this card is about reversed is, you got to come up with a better plan or better strategy or better moves in order to achieve what it is you really want right now. So that's what we have for you, I think,
Good luck, Sam.
with that. Great. We are on Vidi. Hi, Vidi.
Hi, Vivi.
Here we are.
What energy do I give off to strangers in general as well as in love? Thank you.
What was that?
What energy do I give off to strangers in general as well as love?
Okay.
And that's going to be my deck.
Yep. I just want to get this one out because I'm struggling with some of these decks today.
I'm using Mike Royale's Dark Tarot for this one.
Okay. Okay.
And our first card is the Hanged Man reversed. So that is an interesting energy. Our second card is the Lovers upright. And then the final card is the upright Three of Pentacles. It's an interesting image for the Three
The
of
Three of
Pentacles.
Pentacles? Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Ah, here.
The house has returned in the first card spot. And then the Rider is in the secondary spot.
Hmm. Wow, I don't know. I'm getting a mixed bag here. So this is about,
The energy you give off to people in
yeah.
general or possibly in love.
Okay. Well, with the gosh, I'm forgetting
You're welcome, Sienna.
what is that one again?
It's the Hangman
Yes,
reverse.
the Hangman reverse. Some people might feel that, well, I could go two ways here. Um, Usually when the hangman is reversed, though, it's indicating that you might come off a little bit.
I think it's about coming off over eager in some ways, or sort of feeling like you're not as restrained as you were. Like maybe you're feeling like you've come from a period of holding yourself back, and now you sort of want to test the waters or to see what's out there.
That kind of ties a little bit into what I was going to say. I think that it's saying that, well, for me, I think it's saying that maybe people kind of wonder if you're thinking more of yourself than them. You know, that you have your own self-interests at heart,
Oh, I like
and
that
you're
too.
not willing to give a little bit more. You know, like for example, with the Lovers card here, I was trying to figure out how this hangman man energy would reversed would coincide with the Lovers card here. And I could almost go Mr. O's way too. I might go back to that. But I feel here that maybe they're feeling that some of the moves and the choices you make are, more, out of more for what your ideas of love and relationship should be, as opposed to taking into account how other people feel.
Right, with that second card, it seems like you're putting yourself more out there. You're wanting to possibly be seen as attractive person. So that's the vibe I think you're putting out there, is that there is a sense of you being somebody who is interested in further in relationships and most likely, especially, falling into love.
Now, the thing is, others may actually see you as strong. I like what Mr. O said, because the hanged man, I mean, if you look at it more literally, he's come down from the tree now. He's down and getting back into the world of things. So people may be looking at you as saying, oh, you're very serious now of coming out of your shell and looking for Mr. Right, the right person in your life. But I think this card is basically saying, too, you're really not willing to compromise your principles on what you're looking for here. And
That kind of ties into that one if you think about it.
yeah, it does. And it kind of is a good thing in a way, because we should adhere to our values and not compromise them, not accept anything less than what we're worth.
So with that Three of Pentacles, it sort of indicates that maybe you want to be the person that more is in control, at least from your end of things. You're not saying you're going to control everybody's interaction with you, but you are going to be in control of how your interactions work with others, including this idea of how you come off to them. What is the energy that others perceive?
So, since you said love in other areas as well, I think what this is saying is that people may feel here that, you want to, it's not so much control, but take the lead and steer
Yeah,
the
I like that.
direction of where, this relationship, or where, how you work with others is going. You kind of want to steer it your way. So they feel like, in a way, you are kind of a force to be reckoned with. In some ways, you have a domineering kind of attitude. That's the way it may come off to others. And the rider in the house indicates to me too that they may feel that you're always moving towards, well, they may feel that you're moving towards finding somebody that you're really, or people that you're really comfortable with, people that you get to know really well, and, that you're really comfortable with.
What she said about this card, the Three of Pentacles, kind of like being able to lead things or being able to show the direction of things, that sort of expresses through the writer as well. The writer is the person who is moving towards the goal or leading
Moving your
towards the goal.
relationships with others to a comfortable place.
And so despite anything else, that's how people see about you too, that you basically want to have a good, happy, comfortable outcome in a relationship.
Our homes are our fortress. Where we live is
Yeah, we're
where we
sorry, Fire
feel.
Spawn. We did close our list.
Yeah, we're
We've already
sorry.
turned
We
away.
got filled up real fast today. Thursdays have been pretty empty though, so if you need a reading, stop back in on Thursday. Um, I feel like the house too is about setting up boundaries in a way.
Okay.
That they realize here that you move pretty fast to steer this the way you want it to go and the way you feel most comfortable. So
You too.
that's what we see. That's what we have for you, Siama. Good luck with that.
Already.
Take care, Fire Spawn. Sorry, I said Siama. It's Viddy. I'm sorry, Viddy. Have I been saying Siama all along and you did not correct me?
No, well, I've been saying Biddy, so
Okay,
maybe I
thank
just
you.
didn't
I might have said Viddy a
realize.
few times there. Whoopsie.
See. All right.
All right, we are on Libra. Hi, Libra.
What's the summer going to bring to Libra cusp?
Summer? Okay.
Summer. What's the summer for me?
Do you want to do June, July, and August?
Sure.
And then just the Lenormand overview, kind of?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, it's really going to be kind of summer June when summer hits in June. And then when it
Well,
ends,
these aren't necessarily calendar readings. I mean,
yeah,
some of this could stray beyond August a little bit.
yeah, I think, to the fall. All right. So maybe the first part of summer, the mid part of summer, the end of summer.
Okay.
I like that. Well, so the first part of summer is the Three of Pentacles, the Three of Cactus reversed. So the first part of summer kind of indicates to me that you may not be working that well with people during this time period. People don't seem to want to agree with you on things. People may not see, your contributions to the whole as being very positive. There may be some differences of opinion and some difficulties going on in dealing with others.
Right. A lot of times this might imply, a group of people, and in your situation, it could be your immediate family, and maybe everybody has a different idea about what they want to do this summer. And so you're with the task of trying to make everybody feel like they're getting a good summer, but maybe you're the one then that doesn't feel like you're getting the summer you want because you're trying to please other people.
Oh my gosh.
Middle part.
I hate to say it, but it's going to bleed over into the middle of summer because we have another three reversed.
The Three of Cups reversed. So yeah.
So this summer is going to be kind of hot under the collar with dealing with people, people who are usually very supportive or friendly with you, and now it just seems like they're not. You just feel like there's nothing to celebrate. This might also mean that maybe summer, beginning and middle of summer are going to be rather low key for you, with not a lot of social activities going on or productive activities with others.
And so that could just mean that maybe, you're getting a vacation from those people, and maybe, you're going to mix with some different people or different relatives or whatever in that part of the summer.
Yeah, I can't rule out here, Libra, that there could be a more serious falling out with someone, maybe, possibly.
All right. So then the final part of summer.
Well, that is, well, the upright card, and it's kind of ambiguous. It's the Seven of Pentacles again. We've been seeing that a lot today in
And
different
I think
cards.
you're just feeling like, you sort of have well, I could have did this, but I didn't. You're sort of like looking at what you could have done, but what you didn't do.
I'm wondering if the remainder of summer is going to leave you, trying to figure out what is best to accomplish during the rest of the summer months, whether it is for business or pleasure, or around the house, etc. What is really worth putting your energy into? I think you're going to come up with a plan, but I do think that overall, Libra, this is going to be kind of a low key summer for you.
And so then there's the Lenormand, and it's the dog. And I can only say, stay home.
Stay home. Wow. I think your best friend and comfort is your home life during this summer. Make it comfortable. Do things around the home that are fun, that
Do a day trip now and then,
maybe vary around your neighborhood and around. Right, I agree. I think it should be close to the home front. Any activities that you do, and maybe this is a time to spend more quiet time with yourself, being loyal to yourself. Maybe there's one person out of this whole mess here that you're going to be able to count on during this summer to you know, uh, be able to make the summer worthwhile for you. I hate to put it that way. It doesn't seem like anything really, really terrible, but it definitely seems very low key.
yeah.
No big things happening. And, you're just going to have to figure out towards the end of the summer what you want to do with it, what you want to do. Seems like some planning is definitely going to be involved, some stepping back. Maybe that's when you're really going to say, okay, none of these activities have been working out with other people. I am going to spend my time at home. And maybe that's when that kicks in. I'm wondering. Wow, good luck with that, Libra.
I hope you enjoy your summer.
I do too. Just don't count on others. Hey, you know what? Sometimes that's just the way it is. We have to count on ourselves for our happiness. And we can create a lot of good times and fun for ourselves. We don't always need others to do that with. And that's what I think is going on here. Good luck with that.
So Kara is up.
Hey, Kara.
Hi, Kara.
Sorry, I will post the list in a minute, guys. I am having a issue with my cards again. And Sunny is taking up my space. Hi, Kara. All right.
So basically, is someone trying to harm you? And you think it could be somebody that you knew before, maybe were friends with or something.
Well, let's see what kind of vibes we get on that. Okay, Kara.
I'm going to use my Lost Soul Tarot. Wow.
Got some interesting repeat cards today, and I don't know what to say about that. That Seven of Pentacles has been coming up quite a bit. And then we have that strange Lenormand stuff coming up. The Clover and the Labyrinth.
My cards, my cards. And of course, if we don't get a definitive answer, we'll do yes or no. So our first card is the upright Six of Cups. This is another pip-laden deck, by the way.
The upright Six of Cups.
Mm-hmm. Judgment reversed.
Okay. Oh, you might be onto something, Kara.
Three of Wands, upright.
Here. I don't know, though. It's going to be a tricky time trying to ferret it out, I
A
think.
book. And an anchor. Are you anchored to this person, or do they think that you should be, or that they're anchored to you in some way?
I'm really of two minds here with this one, Kara. And I think with the book and the anchor, I want to just throw this out there that you might be kind of anchored in trying to figure this out for a while. It's not going to unfold very easily to figure out what's going on here. Because I'm looking at the Six of Cups. Now, that is upright. So but judgment is here reversed. So this is what's making me of two minds. Because on the one hand, I could see you maybe blaming somebody from your past who really isn't doing this to you. They might actually not be, you know? But on the other hand, I could also see somebody that you used to have maybe some good relations with in the past that might now be your worst critic, somebody who is kind of treating you harshly.
What's that song by Sheryl Crow? They're your favorite mistake, maybe, or you're their favorite mistake. But it does feel like this is a draw from the past, and there are bad consequences or leading down paths you don't want to go, or you don't want to go with them.
So I guess too what I would say here is that, with the judgment reversed, this could also be talking about you. And it might be saying be careful of the judgments you make. Don't judge somebody too quickly without gathering more information, right? The anchor in the book. And let's go here to the Three of Wands. I think you're just going to be I think you're anticipating that something is going to happen or develop from all of this. That I think you're anticipating, you do have a beat on this. I do feel like maybe, yeah, there could be somebody out to get you, or you're really anticipating or feeling that way. But
I,
whether it's true or not, I'm still confused. Do you want to pull the bottom card on
yeah, I
this?
do.
I knew you did. I knew you
And
did.
to me, Judgment Reverse does sort of indicate somebody with ill feelings towards you. So I did look at the bottom of the card, and it's the Ace of Cups reversed.
It could very well be somebody
That
is,
really did like you, and now
well,
they don't.
now they don't. Or the fact is that they're harboring some resentments they haven't gotten over here. And, you can anticipate, I think, some kind of issue coming your way. They're sending you negative vibes. I don't know if they're really going to be able to harm you, but they're definitely sending you some negative vibes. But be careful of who you're judging here. This may not be who you think it is, or you might be judging somebody too critically you shouldn't be. That could be an ally. I think this is you're going to have to let this play out. But, you don't have to let harm come to you. If you can't figure out who it is, and our cards are not helping a lot here, I would just say set up some strong boundaries, do some protective magic around yourself, and try to just ward it off. Okay? Do what you can to ward it off.
Well, I think the Three of Wands, of course, is, catching an opportunity. And maybe as you go through this, the opportunity really is to kind of anchor yourself with the knowledge you have to take care of this. And so, like Banshee says, putting protection around yourself in some form. And I do
Yeah.
feel that this is a person, you said it was in a dream, and then you also said something about your Nana, what you said about eyes. And I don't remember that exactly, but
Oh, that's right.
I get a feeling like you're onto something here and you should just take some steps to protect yourself.
Yeah, we may never know. Sometimes we just have that feeling that somebody's out to do some bad things, and you maybe are getting some signs of that. And let's not forget the card we had for the collective here today. I think you might have came in a little late for that. If you missed it, you might want to go back and listen to that because it was indicating this could be a rough week for some of us. So it was
You
definitely
know
like
what?
a tower moment kind of card.
Remember what happened in Goth Tarot when we were talking about betrayal?
hmm That's another thing.
And I also
Yeah.
feel like that plays into what's going on in parts of the country right now, too.
When I was at Goth Tarot, the beginning of the month, the working that we have is about dealing with betrayal in our lives and how best to work through that. So there might be even some messages for you there.
All right.
But I have a feeling you may never figure this out necessarily. You're going to keep trying to figure it out. But the more important thing is to work on a strategy to move forward in a positive direction and just protect yourself. Because once you put the things in place, you should be okay. I do feel that here. So wish you luck with that.
Hi, Dr. Victor. We are almost at your reading. We have one person, and then you're the next one after that.
Yep.
So if you haven't left us a question, you might want to leave us your question, and we'll be with you in just a few minutes. All right,
And
so thank you,
Shirley is up.
Kara, and you're welcome. Hi, Shirley. Will your business improve this week? Okay,
Okay.
and we'll get to you shortly too, Nada.
Do, do, do. Yeah. Okay. Just checking my
That's your
list.
deck.
Oh, it is my deck. Oopsie.
Uh-huh.
Oh, good, because then I can use the horsey deck, which is
Thank you,
easier.
Shirley.
And it was the next deck on my plate here. How funny that, Shirley. I don't know how that happened, but it did. It just worked out. I actually thought, oh, this girl's going to be doing a deck for Shirley. And this one was right up front, so it worked.
And I have a newer deck. It's not a new deck, but it's newer to me that does have horses in its themology, but I haven't used it yet. I'm not going to do an unboxing or anything. I'm just going to start using it at some point.
All righty. Well, we're starting with the Empress upright. That's a pretty card.
The Empress upright.
Ooh, and we've got the lovers here, two major arcana, and that's upright.
Pretty.
Can we go for three major arcana? Why, yes, we can. It's the Hanged Man. Well, this is really interesting, Shirley. I don't know what's with our cards today where we're getting these mixed signals, but we'll talk.
The Whip and the Heart.
Ah, ooh,
I know.
I don't know.
This is the family hour. No.
This could go different ways, but and again, I'm just saying that these cards today have been really ambiguous at times. But the Empress is a really positive card for productivity and putting
It's
out work and things getting done. That your business could be productive and growing during this time period, or it's close to that. I'm wondering if it's close to that because oftentimes, a lot of times when we do see the Empress card, we see her as a pregnant person, right? But
That's
we don't
true.
necessarily see it that way here. So, but I'm getting that from some of the other cards I'm seeing here. We do have the Lovers. The Lovers is indicating to me that maybe some of this is on you. You know, what kind of choices or moves are you going to make that could improve your business this week if things have been slow? It seems to me that the Lovers is saying choose wisely here, and it's possible that, if you come up with some creative new ways of approaching, uh, promoting your business or whatever, that things could happen. But the Hanged Man is here. And the Hanged Man is kind of saying, take a step back here. Wait, you got to take a step back and figure things out more. So, what do you think? I'm thinking I almost want to go this way now.
I'm kind of cutting to the chase, saying that maybe the choice you have to make to stir the creative impulse or to create that flow you want may involve you changing your mind about something. I won't say sacrificing or giving up something, but that maybe you have to think about something differently. That's another way of looking at the hangman. You have to see something in different terms somehow. And maybe it's a change that would affect your business.
It's really interesting that you said that because I like that idea because with the psyche and the heart, it almost is acting like maybe you have to cut back on something that you were passionate about in order to generate some success here. I'm not sure about that. There's another way to read that, and the other way to read that might be that you need to move more, you need to move quicker. The psych is a very quick aggressive movement. You have to come up with some aggressive action in order to achieve what you really desire here, and that's more business, right? So that comes back to the Empress here. And it's interesting too because the Empress and the Hanged Man can kind of work together nicely here. Step back and think of creative ways that you can stimulate making the right moves to stimulate your business growth.
I like that. I can't add anything to that. I think that it's very fundamental that they're all major arcana because this is indicating
Very.
that not only are there maybe strong forces around you, but maybe you can think really realistically, strongly about what those choices or activities or behaviors you need to bring into yourself.
Well, and not only that, Shirley, they are all well aspected cards.
Yeah.
And so there are no reversals here or any kind of negativity associated. The hangman is just, it depends. I mean, sometimes he can hang in suspension and mean that your business is kind of in limbo, but it's really only in limbo if you can't make moves to stimulate that creativity and that fertility that you want.
So how are you looking at the heart and the whip?
Well, I'm thinking here, my main way of thinking that is that you have to make moves. You have to cut to the chase here and make the right moves that will stimulate the results that you desire here. That's
Well,
how.
I'm going to go slightly inverse and say that this could be still talking about considerations you have to make, and that you might have to even make considerations that affect you in your heart. That maybe you might have
I thought about that too.
to make some changes that you're going to feel a little bit affected by in your heart, and some of that will just be really necessity.
Yeah. So it's kind of up and down. I'm not sure your business could improve this week, but I do think that maybe you could come up with some creative solutions to make it happen going forward. And maybe what the cards are trying to say is that that's what you should spend your week on. Coming up with something new, coming up with something that will
A
really,
brainstorm thing.
yeah, yeah. It's kind of what I'm thinking. I wish you luck with that,
Good luck,
Shirley.
Shirley. And hi, Empress. And we are almost at your reading.
Oh gosh,
I'm glad you're thrilled.
we're almost there. We're on Dr. V now.
All right, Dr. V. And Dr. V has a career reading. Career message from Spirit for June and July. Good luck, Shirley. Sometimes with card readings, It isn't always as specific as we'd like, you
Well,
know.
and sometimes they just don't want to tell us now for whatever reasons. I mean, if I see clear answers, I am more than happy to give them to you. But if I see a lot of ambiguity, I'm just going to have to go with that. But I think, like I said, there's a lot of positivity here. And so I'm
Thank you,
thinking that
Empress.
positivity can come from, really thinking this out, what you need to do, coming up with a brainstorm and something that really could stimulate growth and fertility in your business. And I think it's very possible.
I agree with you, Shirley.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Empress. You're a beautiful soul yourself. All right, so Dr. Victor asked, what does Spirit say about career for June and July?
Huh, okay. Do you want to do? Oh, we got three cards though. Do I do two and two?
We'll
June and
do two and
July?
two. Yes,
Yeah, I'll
June
do
and
the
July.
Lenormand for that.
And of course, I'm using the Spheres of Heaven Tarot. And most of the decks I've been using today were pip oriented. I wanted to use more pips this time for whatever reason. You're welcome, Shirley. All right, so two and
Oh,
two.
oh, now here's some new stuff for me.
All right, so June
Oh, that's right. I did this wrong, but it's okay. I got it.
has the 5 and the 10 of Cups reversed.
Whoops. No, no, no. Yep. I did. Okay.
This is June. 5 and 10 of Cups reversed.
Oh,
The Key
ooh.
and the Whip returns.
Well, June is not a great month career wise. The key to me here is
To move
there's,
quickly.
well, I don't know. I think to expect some disruptions because the whip can be about arguments and
Okay.
fighting and or swift moving things too. But what's moving swiftly here? I think there's some breakup or breakdown here with other people. The Ten of Cups is reversed. Like, in other words, people are not seeing eye to eye. There's no harmony. There's no happy ending here. So, I mean, if you were hoping to get a job or land something in June, I'm not sure the cards are all in on that, Dr. V. I think you'll be looking to move on to some new opportunity, though. I think you're ready to say, okay, this is definitely not working out. It's definitely not a happy thing. And maybe the key is to move swiftly to a new opportunity.
It feels like people don't feel you are a part of them. So if this is already a coworker situation, you may not feel like you're accepted there, or maybe you get the feeling people don't accept you, and you may feel like you are trying to move on. To me, the key is mostly having a more aggressive approach to finding a new career if that's what you're doing. If you're staying in the same career, this could also just mean too that maybe you need a harder edge when you're dealing with people who you don't feel you mix with well. You might want to just maintain a certain demeanor at most times
This
with them.
is really interesting to me too, right? Because if this is talking about your present workplace, then it does indicate here that there is just some real disharmony right now. Some people are in June are not going to be getting along or not being very cooperative. And so, you're going to seek a way out or just to get away from that in some way. So that's kind of what I'm looking here because there's some aggressiveness here, whether it's on your part to just pull
Pull
back
them back, right?
or if it's from other people who are just being too aggressive and hostile. Go on, what's with
All
the
right,
next one?
so for July,
Better conditions, maybe?
we have the reversed Ace of Swords,
Eh,
and we have the upright Three of Pentacles.
that's better. And look at
That's better
this.
to some degree. So July also has cat, which is dog, right? So that's
They also have a dog card, but I've been using the cat.
and the moon. So these July looks a little better with a spirit message. The Ace of Swords could indicate that maybe something is delayed, an undertaking, like maybe you have to wait a little bit longer still to move ahead somewhere. But the Three of Pentacles seems to indicate a better relationship with people than this one. This definitely looks like either you're more with people who think like you, or you're working with people that you can accept your position with them, whether your position is higher or lower.
It's really interesting. Yeah, I think here the Ace of Swords could be reversed, could be saying that you need to be a little bit careful with how you communicate with others and make sure that you're making decisions that are in your best interests. Otherwise, it could cause you some delays or some disappointments, or what you thought might be good for you might turn into an empty victory. I will say that. But all in all, there's more of a harmonizing of finding a place, finding a team, or finding people you can truly work with in July. Could this be a new job? Maybe. Could this be just that things start to smooth over in your present place of an employment? Yes, it could mean that. It just seems like people are really more on the same page, easier to get along with, and you might even be able to take a little bit of the lead here in making this happen. And I think the moon and the cat, well, that's really interesting to me too. Because if you are looking for employment in July, it's possible here that either a friend or an associate that you are working with, the cat here, could point you in the direction of something employment wise that could work out for you.
I think that's possible, but I sort of think it's more likely that maybe this is saying things are shifting better where you may be at in July.
Because you have an ally in your workplace.
Right. It seems to me like maybe you're getting along better, the loyalty thing and the feeling like you are part of that process. And that would lead basically towards your success there, or towards you being looked at as a better candidate in whatever.
So yeah, I think July has much better
Is a better
energy
month
for you.
than June.
So I wish you luck. Hang in there through June, though. If
All right.
things have been a little testy over there, that may continue for a little bit. And if it hasn't happened yet, well, I think you can expect a little bit of a rocky month going forward. So good luck with that,
Good
Dr.
luck with
V.
that, Dr. Victor. And our list is closed, but we have 4 people left. It looks like Nada is up next.
Guys,
And I just want to say you're all on the list. We're going into overtime, but we will finish with all of you.
oops, I have Dr. V there still. We did Dr. V.
We did
That
not.
one's up. I must have had that one saved. Sorry.
All right.
And see, let me repost it. There we
Nada
go.
also wants a general reading. Hey, boy.
Okay, my deck. I'll get it.
Hello, boy.
Just want to move that out of his purview. All right. So, what deck am I up to next?
Thank you, Dr. Victor. I hope it's helpful.
Hi, Sonny. I need my arm for a minute, though. Just a minute, sweetie.
Hey, Sonny.
I gotta shuffle my cards. You know that. And of course, the room is gone again. Excuse me a minute. I'm gonna have to jostle things here. Okay.
We had a great happy hour yesterday. This time, happy hour next week will be at its normal time of 10 a.m.
Yay.
You're a goblin? I'm a goblin myself. No, I'm not. So check out happy hour this week at 10 a.m. its normal time.
I'm hungry.
I'm a little hungry. We'll have to talk. And
Uh-oh.
Thursday, well, about what we're eating.
Okay.
Thursday, we'll be back at 7 o'clock for our 7 to 9 p.m. show. So don't forget to watch that.
I know. He's grabbing for my arm constantly, this guy. Look at him.
So cute.
Just a minute, man. Okay. I have one hand free now. But we have a reversed Ace of Wands. What was Nada's
This
question
is
again?
it's a general reading.
That's right, the general. Okay, thought about that.
General
Sorry,
reading
just
for
lost
Nada.
it. Oh, we have reversed Temperance. Oh, but we have the Queen of Cups to save us upright. So general reading. Well, what do you got, Mr. O?
What do I have? Goblin lasagna.
Ooh, what is your deal? What is your deal? Let me see if I can.
All right, our Lenormand cards are the Stork and the Dice. Take a chance on something new.
Huh. Well, that is interesting, all things considered here. Um, I don't know if you should take a chance on something new. It might be risky. And that's because the Ace of Wands is reversed here. So
Okay.
whether it's in romance or whether it's in business, you ought to be careful of the moves you make. For maybe the next couple of weeks. This is a general reading. Be careful because it could be risky getting involved in something new at this time. I think here with the his hair is flying around. What is that one again in the middle?
Temperance.
Yes, temperance reversed. It just may be a situation maybe weighted against you in some way. I think here with temperance reversed, it could be something, that maybe you thought would be a good opportunity, whether it's a new relationship or whether it's a business opportunity. It may cause you more stress or anxiety than it's worth. It may not be worth your while to put to go for this. So really think about it. Think about any kind of new thing that you want to get involved with.
I almost wonder if this is maybe possibly about romance or something that really is something you're very fond of. Because I'm looking at the Queen of Cups at the end by themselves.
Something you're passionate about.
Yeah,
Really
there's something
is.
that's a passionate feel. It may be something you're just not quite getting off of the ground, or maybe you're not ready to, but you're just feeling this fire there, in a way. And you may be looking at this as realizing it's a little bigger than you can handle right now, and that maybe you just have to figure out how you can pull it together, how you can balance everything in this relationship or whatever this is you're passionate about. Maybe it's something like where it's really like total opposites, whatever that is that you're attracted to. You just sort of feel like, you don't have a chance. There's the dice.
I have a feeling that whatever the situation is, you can always trust your gut and your intuition to, make the right choice and decision here. I've told you to be careful about what you do. I think you will be because the Queen of Cups is upright here. And I think you'll know in your heart that maybe even though this looks like a good thing, that you're going to realize this is not for you. And again, the stork indicates something new coming your way, but I'm sorry,
The dice.
the dice is indicating that this could be a risky thing. It's like a roll of the dice. You're either going to win or you're going to lose. And it's kind of like you can take your chances. But with that Ace of Wands reversed, I would say don't get involved in something new. Lay low for the next few weeks. Try to just, lay low and not do anything new. If something comes your way, definitely investigate it really well.
Now, I kind of led a little bit with the idea of romance and we were kind of kibitzing a little bit,
Mhm.
but this could easily be about a new job choice, a new career choice, a new choice of almost anything. So it is really incumbent that you consider what the choice is because maybe you're not really ready for it. You have to really figure it out for yourself if you really are and take that chance.
Gosh, Nat, I wish you luck with that.
Good luck.
Oi,
All right, winding down, we are on
lasagna.
Empress.
So yeah, it probably is take a chance at romance. Uh, that is part of a song title,
You're
or
welcome.
a song. I don't know which one, and if Mr. O can't figure it out, well,
Well, yes, we do believe in that 1111 thing, Empress, or seeing numbers that a lot of times they may be saying when you see the number 1111, what else you are thinking of at that time or what you're involved in is important, that you should take note of that, that it may mean something more than what it seems like.
So, what is the question?
I'm looking for
Okay.
it. But I was commenting on their other comment.
Oh,
Uh,
oh yeah, I see it.
Will is social media a good platform for earnings for me? Sometimes I become too depressed when I don't get any positive response. Okay.
Okay.
Do you understand it? Do you want me to ask it again?
Repeat it again.
Alrighty, hold on. Yeah, we're finally there. Sorry. Please tell me, is social media is a good platform for earnings for me?
Yeah.
Sometimes I become too depressed when I don't get any positive response.
Well, I have to admit we don't get a lot of business generated from social media, but we haven't been the greatest advocate for our our paid for readings. So we just need to advertise more. And we still love doing things for free, really. We do make some money from other sources, from some of the events we
You're welcome.
attend. And we get donations from time to time here. Excuse me.
Right, we have some regular donations or monthly, and then of course some people drop in and give us donations too.
Okay. And if it's not clear, we will do a yes no. What is with these aces coming up today? Geez, oh, Pete's. It's another one. Ace of Swords reversed. The Nine of Wands is upright. Ah. And the Knight of Swords is upright.
All right, so the gentleman appears in the Lenormand,
Hmm. Oh, but that could be you. Could
right,
use that as
and the guard. The gentleman is
a
a
significator.
significator, so it could be you, the client, could be,
And
somebody
what's the
else.
other?
The garden.
The garden. Oh. Hmm. Well, I really do think this is saying, you know, it does seem sometimes like it's an empty victory, like you're not getting what you want out of it. That's the Ace of Swords reversed. It feels as though, you're putting in effort, but there just doesn't seem to be any epiphanies or good things happening. It's not coming, if it's coming at all, it's coming in little bits at a time. And I feel that here when I see that Ace of Swords.
It may be that you question the decision, even that you sort of look at this and you are questioning that,
Yes,
too. So this could just be about your current state of mind is feeling like
I
you're not
feel
really
that.
sure you're cut out for this. Knives are, or swords are cutting.
And then you have the Nine of Wands upright. And the Nine of Wands upright to me is saying, you know what? I think in a way, this is saying you need to be prepared for something, but for what? You need to be better prepared. Maybe what this is saying too is you need to do more to try to promote the results that what you want to get out of the social media presence. Maybe there's something more you have to do here. Maybe also this is a test for you. Maybe what it's saying is this sluggishness, this slowishness, this feeling that it's all for nothing is a test for you, a trial, so to speak, to see if you've got what it takes to move this forward in a more positive direction.
So the Nine of Wands could be saying, are you prepared for the more fallow periods of a business? Any business
Yeah.
has periods that are sluggish or maybe not so sluggish. Are you prepared for the idea that maybe this is a business that is not dramatically earning significant?
Not only that, the Nine of Wands is about taking the lead in fighting for something. So
Yeah.
you're going to have to fight for this business. You're going to have to fight for the social media to improve for you if that's what you're looking for. And, I think it's possible with the Knight of Swords here. The Knight of Swords says, think on your feet. Think on your feet. Gauge what you see going on around you. Look at more what people are really, what you seem to think that people are go moving towards, and see if you can't match that in some way. Get some ideas from that and move this forward.
That knight in particular is a courageous personality, somebody who's brave enough to kind of keep pushing themselves. They're not taking chances necessarily. They sort of have a sense of what they are capable of. That refers back to the Nine of Wands. But they are bold enough to want to keep pressing themselves forward. So this is saying
Very interesting to
you
me.
wouldn't do this if you really felt there was something stupid or not good enough for you to really pursue it. You're pursuing it because you really do feel you can make a difference there for yourself, if nothing else.
And the thing is, you've got the garden here and you've got
Yourself.
yourself. And so, you know what? I feel like you're going to hang in there a bit more with this. You're going to keep trying. I think here the garden is social media.
Yeah.
The garden is about a social, event or something. So to me, I often refer to garden as social media, the internet, the great expanse out there. So I think you will, keep trying to reach people. I literally think the Lenormand is saying that. Don't give up yet. Try something new. You might have to clear your head a little bit and do some um, I can't think of the word, not strategic planning, nothing like that, but really going out there and looking at what people are responding to. They're not responding to you enough. Well, what is getting their attention? And seeing if it can't generate some ideas within you to stimulate more growth and excitement about what you're doing. So it's not saying you have to copy people, but it might stimulate some ideas for you. So that's what I think you need here when I see the Ace of Swords reversed. You need better ideas and thinking outside the box a little bit about how to make things happen. So I wish you luck with that.
Good luck, Empress.
I don't think it's impossible. And the Lenormand seems to think you should keep at it.
I think so. All right. So we're on Jarrett then.
We made it to Jared.
Thank you, Jackie, for saying that. That was very nice.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna look for Jarrett's
It was something
question.
to do with taking some medicine or something.
There it is. How do all the chemicals that were from Fabulous affect my mind, and should I just keep going?
Okay.
Okay, so I'm not sure what Fabulous it is. It's
Well,
some sort of pharmaceutical, I
it's
guess.
pharmaceutical or it's something that has chemicals in it, and you're worried about how it may be affecting your mind. So let's
So
use
that's
your
mine,
deck
right?
for that. And
Okay.
I'll use Lenormand. Interesting question. Let's see what we get.
And I'm going to use my relatively new Joker Tarot.
Well, we are into overtime, but we have
Officially,
the last two readings now, so
we are officially into overtime.
we didn't do bad considering we had a
Yep,
huge list.
411. Okay. Now, do keep in mind, of course, that
Doctors,
we're not doctors, nurses, medical people. So it is what it is.
consult with professionals if you feel you need.
Yeah, we can just tell you what the cards are saying, and hopefully encourage you, to find out more. So I hope everybody had a good reading.
Hmm, interesting.
Okay, our first card is the World. It's upright. Then, literally at the other end, the Fool, but it's reversed.
Oh,
How funny is that? And then the reversed King of Cups. So I'm definitely getting an
oh
emotional
my
feel
goodness.
going on here.
Here,
Okay,
let me
here's
muddy the
the
waters.
bouquet. Right. And the
What
crossroads.
is interesting? There is definitely something here. I don't know if you feel like this is affecting you more adversely or if you think it's actually helping. I think here, with the world, you were hoping maybe that this would end up being something that would bring some success to you, that, some closure even in some way. I don't know if this is something, it's very vague when you said chemicals from Fabulous. Is it something you're ingesting? Is it something you're putting on your body to make things change? Is this something that's, affecting your mind for better or worse? But I mean, you wanted it to, like it's a drug you're taking for better mental health. Whatever the case may be, it's clear here you're hoping that this would put an end to something and make things better for you. That I feel is what this card is here for. What do you think?
Right. The world sort of sounds like a sense of, satisfaction in the context of this question. Like, this is completing you. This is sort of squaring the circle, whatever the terminology is. I'm just going to push ahead to the full because that's so obvious there
Well, I was going to say, but
that you may be finding out that there were unintended consequences
yeah.
or unexpected results or situations arising.
There could be side effects. There could be something that maybe is affecting you in a way you did not expect. And you took a risk, you took a gamble on this, but are you really happy with that? Was it a mistake? Maybe you're questioning your judgment on this now because, what is that again?
King of Cups reversed.
Because you're feeling like it may not be making you happy in some way. So, in other words, if this was a mood, if this was going to be altering your mind in some way or a mood enhancer, maybe it's having an adverse effect or it's not making things better. And you're kind of wondering about that now. Or maybe it's making you feel too euphoric and happy or up, and that's not very good for you either.
A case could be made for the
Balance.
world saying that, the idea that it presented a euphoric kind of like larger than life, success, the world has really high allegorical kind of meanings. But so does the fool, even reversed. And so that's saying really that maybe you realize there is a judgment question here that didn't go as well. And what you're looking at, I think, with the King Cups is not only, that it may have affected you emotionally in ways you don't want, maybe it's bringing out a meaner side to yourself, or maybe it's bringing out something about yourself that you're not liking too.
Well, the other thing is, I just lost my thought and I wanted to add something to that. King. Um, let's move on to the Lenormand. I will come back to this. The crossroads and the flowers. I think you are at a crossroads right now to do. I know what I was going to say, so I want to go back to that after I'm done. But I think you are at a crossroads right now trying to determine if this was really the gift or the bringing you the joy or the beauty or changes that you were hoping it would. And so that leads me back to the king here. If this was something, we're dealing a lot with the mind because you acted. Is this affecting your mind in some way or your mood? I think, too, if this is something you ingested for physical readings, either to improve your appearance, make you lose weight, the weight loss drugs, stuff like that. Um, you're really at a crossroads here wondering, well, you're really wondering if you're happy with the results. You may not be happy with the results that you may be getting from this overall. And I think that's the message here too. You're kind of at a crossroads as to whether this is really working for you. And frankly, the cards are kind of doubtful about this too, if it's really in your best interests to pursue this.
Okay, thank you for letting us know that. I'm glad you are listening. So this is was a little bit heavy. I mean, there's only so much the cards can give us, but I do feel like what this was saying is I agree with Banshee that now you are at the crossroads trying to, and you said that, decide if this was good for you or not. But I think you have the reality of your own feedback, the idea that maybe it has caused some effects that you really question. And like we said, maybe the reverse King of Cups makes you very moody about this or makes you emotionally questioning here.
So
So,
if it's the drugs not out and out affecting your mood in bad ways, taking them and the wonders if it's really working for you is affecting your mood in a negative way. So it's up to you to decide what you want to do about this. Maybe it's possible if you've just started on it that you need to give it more time. Or maybe you need to consult with, whoever you
healthcare
got this
professional.
from or a professional, excuse me, to see if this is really right for you. So that's what we have. I hope that helps.
All right, Jared. Thanks for the question. Good luck. And now we're on JS. Hi,
Hi,
JS.
JS. I think they left a question too, but I'm not
Yeah, they
sure.
left a question. I'll find it for you.
Now get my deck.
How will my future spouse treat me?
Oh yeah, I remember that now. Okay.
And speaking of emotional issues and all of that, I'll remind everybody to watch my weekly show on Fridays, The Outlook on the Emotional Exchanges. It's a two-card reading for each sign of the zodiac. The top card from the deck will reveal the kind of vibe or energy coming to you romantically or emotionally speaking. And the bottom card will indicate if you will be lucky in love, romance, etc. And that's every Friday at 7 a.m. It's good for the whole week. It's for each sign of the zodiac. So check that out.
It's another ace. How's this happening? A lot of aces today. But this one's reversed. It's the Ace of Pentacles or coins. The Four of Cups is reversed. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Well, the Emperor upright. I do have some things to say about this. But go on. Let's
Okay,
see what you've got.
birds, snake. Well, that first card really gave me a start a little bit because I thought, like, is this a person who maybe will? How was the question asked? How they're going to treat
Their
you?
future spouse will treat them.
Well, I get the feeling like maybe the future spouse could have a hang up about, financial security, that they may feel that they want to be with somebody that enhances that or is aligned with that goal. So they would want to impress upon you, perhaps, being diligent about that.
Well, I have a feeling here that they might be a little bit restrictive in allowing you room for growth, allowing you room to, in other words, they might be stifling you from having a career or doing some things that you really want to do in life. In other words, they may be a little bit over dominating in that regard. And I'm wondering if that's why the emperor's shown up as well. But that could be something else. We'll get to that. But I'm wondering here if they're here to, it's kind of like you may have a hard time, going pursuing your own dreams and desires in this future with your spouse. You may have to cave in a lot to their needs.
I can almost see that in the Four of Cups in a way too, because it looks like a choice has to be made. The Four of Cups is reversed, and this may be indicating that you have to pick a path to go with. Depending on where you're at, there may be societal roles or culture expressions of what a good husband or a good wife does, or how a marriage or a family, works.
There definitely looks like there's going to be some trade offs here you're going to have to make. You're probably somebody who's going to have to do more of the compromising in a relationship with this partner. They're going to be kind of, but I'm hoping that it won't be big things because the Emperor's here. And the Emperor's in a positive mode here. I think that they feel that they're looking out for your best interests because they think maybe they have, they have your best interests at heart and they know what's right for you. Maybe sometimes you have to be a little bit more assertive to say, no, this is what I really want. This is what I really want to do. And try to, get them to see that. I think that because the Emperor's upright, that they can be open minded to some degree here and work with you. But I have to say, they really are looking out a lot for their own best interests here for the most part.
They may have a real conventional or traditional idea about marriages or roles in marriage. And, without knowing more about either of you, I would have to say that maybe Banshee's right. Maybe they have expectations that may seem old fashioned or not as realistic as what you might have wanted in, a 21st century romance or situation. But it may be that that's the way they are. They grew up that way. And, you do have a possibility of coming across to them. I think that sometimes, the Four of Cups could be saying, work with it and try to change it where you can.
And I don't know, I'm looking at the Lenormand and I'm getting a more, how do I want to say this? A more collective message for the two of you. I think the key in this relationship, in order to make it work, is everybody's got to communicate truthfully with one another. Everybody has to put their cards on the table right from the get go. What do you want out of a marriage with this partner? Don't go into the marriage already compromising your ideals and goals. Lay your cards out on the table and make sure you understand what you're getting into before you get into a marriage. In other words, make sure you understand what it is they truly want and desire, and make sure you feel they're being honest with you about that. Because the snake can be a real dicey kind of card here. So,
JS, I think what she said is really perfect advice. Both of you need to be on the same level, and the snake could indicate that either or both of you could have a tendency to not necessarily want to reveal things, and it's not willful deception towards a bad end, but it may be kind of like nuancing the idea of, well, either of you don't need to know every single thing, but depending on what it is, you may want to be more honest about it from the beginning.
so that's what it looks like. It looks a little bit challenging,
Well,
but I do feel that this person is not going to be that hard, is just a little bit more.
it's still fair.
He's fair, but he's a little bit more wanting things their way. I
True.
think you can talk to them over time, but I also think it's important right from the get go that everybody is open and honest about where they want to see, their lives together go. So I wish you luck with that.
Good luck. Alrighty. Woo! Well, that was quite a session,
It
everyone.
was, and yeah, a half hour of overtime
You're
just
welcome,
about. But we're
JS.
glad to have gotten through a lot of these readings.
I hope that
We're
works for you.
sorry if some of them were a little bit ambiguous because the cards were a little bit, well, that's the cards. And we use all of these different decks. And so we can't just blame it on one deck. It's just what the universe wants you to know or not right now.
I know, Jackie.
Yeah,
And thank
so
you for the wonderful comments, Empress and others. Appreciate it. It is a calling on our part. And, Empress, um, it's nice to make money, but we ourselves would do this probably anyway. I mean,
well,
it's
we
just
aren't.
going to be the
Because I
way it
mean,
is for us.
we're not making a living off of it. Let's
We
just
are
take
not.
that. But
But we're lucky because we do have a living. We're retired, but we're in the safety net, you know.
we are people who worked in libraries, right? And if anybody knows anything about librarians, we love to give service to people and we love to give knowledge to people. We try to be open minded about it and we try to be
Bingo.
open hearted about it as well because our goal is to make people wiser, stronger, and better. And that's why we love what we do here. That's why we, being intuitives the way we are as well, we love giving advice and wisdom through the cards.
And you have to have the head to wear the hat.
So we want to thank everybody for their support. We appreciate you. We love when new people come in. We love when people rejoin us after being away for a while. And it's just been a great ride so far, and we aren't seeing it ending yet. So
Hey, I just want to say that a friend of ours, who was husband of another friend of ours, was a kick-ass guitar player in a rock and roll band, and that was the title of a song, "Wear the Hat," and that was the lyrics. You have to have the head to wear the hat. It was very driving punk rock from 1980 or so. Thanks, Bill, wherever you are.
yeah, he has passed.
He has passed.
But anyway, thanks everybody once again. Take care. Have a great week ahead, and we hope to see you all real soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.